Welcome to Vator Box. I'm Bambi Francisco. Well, this week we take Vator Box on the road. Vator Box co-host Ezra Royson and I are here at the Zynga headquarters because Mark Pincus, who is the founder and CEO of Zynga, is our guest host this week. Mark, thank you for joining us.
Sure.
Of course, we also have Lila here. She's going to be our color commentary person. This week we're going to take a look at Raptr. Raptr is an online gaming company. The company has raised $12 million in funding from Axel Partners and Founders Fund. So let's take a look at Dennis Fong give his pitch.
Hi, my name is Dennis Fong. I'm the founder and CEO of Raptr. Raptr is a social platform for people who like to play and discover games. Some people have called us a Facebook for gamers, although that's not entirely accurate because we also have a downloadable client that you can download to your PC or your Mac. Basically what Raptr does is that it, first and foremost, tracks all the games that you play, whether it's on the PC, the Mac, Flash games, social games, games on Xbox, and even some games on the PS3 and the Wii. And we basically help you broadcast that information to your friends, with the idea being that people want to know when their friends are playing so they can play together. We then take that information that we collect on you and upload it to your profile automatically. So for those of you who are familiar with Last.fm, we kind of do the same thing for games that Last.fm does for music. And then we take all of that data we're collecting, the games that you play, that you own, what you've played most this week versus all time, the games that your friends own and what they're playing, and we feed it into a recommendation engine to try to figure out other things that you might like. Our company is funded by Axel Partners and Founders Fund, and we raised a little over $12 million last year.
Okay. All right, so pitch.
Let's see. On a macro level, I like it because I think that obviously a big theme that I'm a huge believer in is games getting more social and social getting more playful. So I think he's going into a great body of water that he will probably find a lot of opportunity in. What I would have liked to hear in the pitch that I didn't get is, number one, I want to know, are the dogs eating the dog food? So my first question that I didn't hear from his pitch is his product in the market? Does he have traction? Are there even anecdotes? Here's how people use my product. It didn't connect the dots. It's too abstract for me, or for me to really, get a hold of it. I want to know, here's examples, or if it's not in the market yet, it will be, and here's the perfect scenario of how the ultimate Raptr experience will be, because I wanted to kind of jump in and get excited about it.
Right.
And he didn't answer questions that I think are big upside opportunities for him, like, can he get outside of the client and actually, could he be the switchboard that is enabling this? I like to call it the social plumbing. So the big macro opportunity that he's crisscrossing that I'm a huge believer in is social plumbing of the internet. And so if he wants to be the social game so first of all, by social plumbing, I mean Facebook and Twitter are the only companies today that look like they're trying to be the social plumbing. So this underlying social infrastructure that is making Web 2.0 real, seamlessly connecting all the disparate people, websites, services, and devices together without you trying.
Right.
So social plumbing is one of my big macros. And I think Facebook is kind of by themselves, and then there's kind of Twitter is a little Twitter in their eyes. And he could say, so what I would have rathered if I were writing his pitch is for him to connect the dots of there's a small number of companies that are building out the social plumbing of the internet. On a global macro basis, it's Facebook. On a social broadcast basis, it's Twitter. I'm going to be Facebook. I'm going to I heard him say Facebook for gaming, but I wanted it a level deeper of I'm going to be the social plumbing of gaming. And then what I need to hear is, number one, the use case of why you want that, which we know for Facebook and Twitter works. Right. And number two, if you're going to be plumbing, do you have an FB Connect kind of thing? Like, so great, you're going to have your client out first because you control it, but I want to know, are you going to hook into Facebook? Are you going to hook into MSN Messenger? So where there's a huge opportunity for someone to do that is that you're going to take the game presence. So if he said to me, we'll take all of Zynga's peak concurrent users and seamlessly broadcast out to their friends wherever they are that they can join them in a game, that's interesting to me on a level of providing better, fun social services to our users and marketing for us. So
it's hard to get a lot of that all in with
Yeah.
one
Yeah, but I
deliver,
think
so,
you
but
missed the meat of it, though. I mean, I think that I think the question becomes, how do you distribute this? How do you get this out there? Why do people use it? Because another use case you didn't get into for this, which is keeping track of updates, and basically, he said they use the term like a Windows updater for games, which I think is an interesting utility. And then there's the broadcast of what I play, and there's sort of the communication to my friends of what I'm doing gaming-wise, and maybe availability and presence and that kind of stuff. So I think there's a number of little things they're doing. I didn't hear one thing which was super compelling. That was like, this is what we do. We own this little spot. There's a number of things which are interesting. And then the question is, how do you get it out there? So I think what's great about Zynga is basically constantly interacting with Facebook and recommending friends who are playing, and I don't really need to do anything to basically be a participant. Once I sign up, to be a participant in the community. This is a case where you really, you had mentioned that maybe they have a distribution deal coming out that they're going to be doing, but they got to get it out to a lot of people. I mean, this is something that without a lot of people, there is no product.
Dennis isn't here. I guess I'll speak for him.
Yeah,
So so let me, from what I
He sounds
understand from
different than
Dennis,
that.
from what I understand from Dennis, and you guys can comment on this, is that he is trying to bridge the console gamers, so that people who are playing on these
Xbox,
Xbox,
PS3,
and World of Warcraft, Guitar Hero, these discrete sort of worlds, and connect them with the Facebook world. So that's what he's trying to do. Is he's trying to create that communication the way he did with Xfire. Remember, he's the founder of Xfire, and he did very well.
Xfire was great. Xfire, $100 million exit to Viacom.
And he also has a distribution deal with Sony and a number of partners right now, so they are going to be including his software in there as an option.
So he's not out with any product yet?
He's out with product. He's not really disclosing how many clients he has down with it, which probably says something, and we don't disclose it.
Yeah, which is fine. All I want to hear in the pitch is, which is hard in a 2-minute YouTube video, is just connect me with. So to repeat or summarize mine is great macro on 2 levels. I mean, social gaming and social plumbing. And in terms of the pitch, I would just like a better connect the dots for me to the user experience.
Well, let's talk about the business, the novelty of what he's doing, and maybe give him some advice.
Oh, my advice would be I would like to see him really drill down on the use cases, because they're too general for me. So I've heard one is let my friends know to play with me, the presence. So broadcasting presence for a join, I think, is really compelling. So I would like to hear more deep on that. And then the second of broadcasting, there's 3 I heard. The second was broadcast my game feed, like what I'm doing. That to me feels unproven, but I'd like to understand it better. And the third I heard was recommend games to me. And that's maybe. I would just like to hear more clear-cut examples of how that's already been successful or wanted in the world. Is it done on Xbox Live, or is it?
But does it work? Does it work? Does recommendations work pretty much for Netflix and Amazon, and they're huge?
It makes sense to me at an abstract theoretical level. So all these ideas make sense theoretically. My advice would be get closer to your use cases and your proof of those use cases, just in terms of the pitch and maybe the way I'd sell it. And then my strategy advice, just based on 5 minutes of this, is, and I'm sure he's smart, he went that way with Xfire, so I've got to believe he's already going all these directions, is I would go much harder on being the social plumbing, the social game plumbing, and being the clientless connector, the way that Twitter is clientless, Facebook is clientless. I'm wondering whether he plans to be like FB Connect for gaming, you know, and what the pitch is for that.
Having a client, the trick is, though, I think for a lot of the things he's doing, he has to have a client because there's so much data he's collecting from games which are not in the cloud. So he's got things that are happening offline and who knows where. So he has a whole technical hurdle, which is really tricky because he's got to get over that hurdle. He's got to get people compelled enough to basically want to get over the hurdle, want to share the content, want to have the use case, and download something and configure it because they're probably not going to want to share everything. You know, people when they're supposed to be working aren't necessarily going to want everybody to know they're playing 8 hours of World of Warcraft.
I'm going a different direction. Why couldn't he do the hard cloud interconnect? So think of him more like he's like a switch, and he's doing an interconnect. Why couldn't he be like Meebo and be the interconnect
between a number of
between your game presence and every instant messaging client?
Sure.
So if he could distribute the game presence out to AOL Instant Messaging users and MSN and Yahoo and Facebook, anyone who's live connected, I don't know if, I mean, that feels a little bit more, I mean, it's less Twitter because it's not, I guess the big question is that wouldn't be very consumer facing, and he's got to decide, does he want to be branded consumer facing? Is he happy to be kind of B2B to C? Those are big questions.
Yeah, well, I mean, what Xfire did, my understanding of Xfire was basically it optimized the IM experience for gaming, so it like minimized itself, and it sort of created the communication around gaming really efficiently.
But it was its own separate world.
It was its own world,
It didn't interconnect.
Didn't interconnect. It was basically its own little world.
This sounds like Xfire again.
Yeah, but with more content-driven and more sort of community-driven, and the question is, it goes deeper into that end, which is how do I create more community and social aspects of gaming? How do I optimize that, create a really compelling product across a whole bunch of different platforms?
But he's got to recreate his points of presence. So the only thing. But my only point that I would engage in a debate with him on is whether or not it's worthwhile to ask your users to recreate all of these points of presence, and whether this matters enough to them to do it. And obviously with Xfire it did, but it is less likely that you're going to have 30 million users. I mean, I don't know how many users Xfire had, but this feels to me like he's on a path to get to 1 million users, not 30.
Right. So you got to leverage them very, very well to make money off of that.
Okay. Final words in 30 seconds or 15 seconds.
Good market. Got to find the center of the river from a distribution standpoint because this is a tough one. If you're not going to have a large amount of consumption, it's tough to build a business here.
Great macro. Not clear what the use cases are exactly, and not clear also, we didn't talk about it, but what the revenue and business model is.
Right. What should be the revenue and business model be? Unclear if we don't...
If you've got 1 million users, it's going to have to be something where you're making a decent amount of money from them. So it's going to have to be some form of, my guess is, game sales or something, because you're not going to have an ad base.
But I'll also say he has inherent channel conflict, because why does World of Warcraft or anybody want to give him a direct relationship with their consumers to upsell someone else's games?
Right.
I mean,
that's the trick. So you're going to have to figure out a way to have, if you're going to have a, same thing. If you're going to have a large base, then advertising and other kinds of
This is an easier play for me to see if you went B2B to C and you considered white labeling it and trying to be this underlying plumbing and back off on having your own consumer direct relationship.
And the game market's changing fast. I mean, if you look at like OnLive, which we just did some coverage for at AO, that's all cloud-based gaming. I don't care about updates anymore. I don't care about anything. I just get a stream, and I have highly interactive games, which are basically fed to me, or Facebook and social gaming. I begin to care a lot less over time about having a lot of local management of stuff.
But I still say we give it a paw up.
Okay,
paw
let's give it a paw up. Dennis, there you go. So we'll wrap it up there. You've been watching Vator Box. I'm Baby Francisco. We'll see you next time on Vator News.